Yo, I'm right back at you with another one. This is part two, none other than part two to the Homicide leak Foia reports for MOB affiliates Nana and White Girl. MOB affiliates Nana and White Girl. And this was submitted via Reddit, through requests from Reddit and via Reddit. So definitely want to give a shout out to you who requested this and sent this through. Yeah, so we're going to go through this. This is part two. So if you have not, go back to part one and get some context so you can catch up. And I will link that in the description of the video. So if you need part one, just click down in the description, then you can go and find that. And shout out to the comment that, the subscriber that commented that. Shout out to you. Appreciate that. I can't get your name right now, but you know who you are. All right, so we're going to jump into it here. We're going to say Beat 5814, E.T. Aguirre, and Beat 5811, Krupa arrived on scene to process evidence as indicated in Chicago Police crime scene processing reports. The scene was videotaped close-up. Overall photos were taken and items of evidentiary value were recovered and subsequently inventoried by E.T. Aguirre and E.T. Krupa. A total of 22 expended cartridge cases were recovered at the scene between the addresses listed. 14 9mm cartridge cases were recovered and 8 40 cal expended cartridge cases. The 9mm fired cartridge cases were located in the street at the addresses were listed, and the 40 cal cartridge cases were located at this address listed. In the street, crosswalk, parkway, and curb. A fire projectile was recovered from 43 East Garfield Boulevard. E.T. Aguirre and Krupa recovered 6 fire projectiles from Washington's vehicle. Upon removal of the bodies, a gray cell phone was observed on the front passenger seat vehicle and a black purse located underneath the center console. An Illinois state driver's license belonging to Washington was recovered from the purse. E.T. Aguirre photographed the above-mentioned cell phones, and reporting detectives recovered the cell phones located near Washington and Dow in furtherance of this investigation. Redacted of Washington and Redacted, the sister of Dow, arrived on scene and were informed by reporting detectives of the circumstances known at this time. Redacted was provided with the medical examiner's contact information. Reporting detectives relocated to 52 Redacted Wabash and observed a parked silver 2014 four-door Hyundai Sonata vehicle bearing Illinois license plate Redacted. Beat 214 was protecting the vehicle. Reporting detectives further observed the vehicle had exterior damage to the rear driver's side bumper. Reporting detectives noted the vehicle to contain apparent blood splatter on the rear driver's side door, front driver's side door, driver's side rear mirror, and the front frame of the vehicle. Reporting detectives further noted apparent brain matter on the roof of the vehicle. Reporting detectives learned that the vehicle had been moved from 5229 South Wabash in order to preserve evidence due to the rain. Detectives processed the vehicle as detailed in Chicago Police crime scene processing reports. At 0430 hours, reporting detectives relocated to 57 Redacted Calumet. Upon arrival, reporting detectives observed a parked dark blue four-door 2009 Nissan Maxima vehicle bearing Illinois license plate Beat 233R and P.O. Calvin were protecting the vehicle. Reporting detectives noted a vacant lot directly to the east of the vehicle with no exact address. Reporting detectives observed the sunroof of the vehicle to be open approximately 2 inches, a receipt and white cell phone in the center console. Reporting detectives observed a Bible and a white mask in the rear seat. E.T. Aguirre and E.T. Krupa photographed the vehicle as detailed in the Chicago Police crime scene processing reports. DC Daily, Labdullah followed the vehicle as it was towed and secured at Chicago Police Auto Pound. Reporting detectives canvassed the 5700 block of South Calumet Avenue for private video. Reporting detectives noted that the building located at 57 Redacted South Calumet Avenue had an exterior surveillance camera at the doorway that pointed in the direction of the parked Nissan Maxima. Reporting detectives met with a security officer for the building who related he was unable to access the video but to contact Redacted at Redacted in the morning, and that they could provide the surveillance footage. Reporting detectives noted exterior surveillance cameras on the apartment complex located at 57 Redacted South Calumet Avenue. The apartment complex had a sign labeled Park Apartments Redacted. Reporting detectives further noted exterior surveillance cameras mounted on 57 Redacted South Calumet Avenue. Reporting detectives located 2 Area Central Detective Division in furtherance of this investigation. Reporting detectives confirmed Washington's employment with the United States Postal Service via Postal Inspector Redacted. Washington was employed by the Westmont, Illinois office. Detective Carroll learned the identity of the 911 caller that observed the shooting and the offending vehicle leave the scene. Redacted followed the offending vehicle to 58th Street in Calumet and then flagged down Beat 6715. Detective Carroll and responding detectives met with Redacted at 10:45 hours. Redacted was the registered owner of the dark blue 2009 Nissan Maxima with Illinois registration. Redacted was advised of that her vehicle had been recovered but had been utilized in the commission of a homicide. Redacted related she did not leave a cell phone or a mask in her vehicle and agreed to sign consent to search her 2009 Nissan Maxima with Illinois license plate. Redacted. Reporting detectives forwarded the consent to search to Chicago Police Department's Forensic Services Section. Detectives proceeded to Good Shepherd Tower, located at Redacted, Super Safe gas station, Mr. G's, and retrieved video surveillance footage. Detectives then met with Redacted at 57 Redacted Calumet Avenue and retrieved private video from the apartment complex. Detectives met with another Redacted at 57 Calumet and retrieved 57 Redacted Calumet and retrieved private video from the apartment complex. Reporting detectives spoke with Redacted, Washington's father, at 11:23 hours via telephone, explained that Washington grew up as neighbors with Dow on the 5700th block of South Wabash Avenue, but had no information who would have committed the murders. Detective Carroll spoke with Redacted, Washington's Redacted, via telephone at 12:15 hours. Redacted related that Juliet Washington was in the neighborhood that night to cook dinner for Juliet Washington's Redacted. Juliet Washington left to pick up her friend, but Redacted did not know what Juliet Washington was going to do after. Redacted related that Juliet Washington's cell phone number was Redacted and her Facebook name was Redacted. Washington gave Dow's cell phone number as Redacted. Reporting detectives accessed the Facebook website and located Juliet Washington's page under the name Redacted, and Janine Dow's page under the name Redacted. Reporting detectives sent Facebook preservation requests and was assigned the case number. Reporting detectives submitted a request to obtain the cell phone records of Juliet Washington's using her cell phone number, Redacted, as well as Janine Dow's using her cell phone number. On June 29, 2017, Dr. Escobar performed an autopsy on the remains of Janine Dow and Juliet Washington and determined the cause and manner of death for both victims to be multiple gunshot wounds / homicide. For additional details of the autopsy, refer to the separate morgue supplementary report. Reporting detectives reviewed the video surveillance footage from Good Shepherd Tower Senior Apartments, footage from the camera labeled Wabash Entrance, faces westbound, and showed the victim's vehicle stop at the red light at 5501 South Wabash at timestamp 22:27:43. The offending vehicle pulled up behind the victim's vehicle. An unknown offender exited the driver's side, and an unknown offender exited the passenger side at timestamp 22:28:21. Both offenders fired handguns at the victim's vehicle and closed the distance while continuing to fire. The victim's vehicle proceeded northbound across Garfield Boulevard. The offenders returned to their vehicle and turned eastbound on the Garfield Boulevard. Footage from the camera labeled parking lot faces southbound and depicted the victims and offending vehicle travel northbound on Wabash Avenue. Footage from the camera labeled Garfield Entrance depicted the victim's vehicle driving northbound on Wabash and striking the white Chevrolet Cruze at 22:28:30. The footage then showed the offending vehicle travel eastbound on Garfield. Reporting detectives reviewed the video surveillance footage from the Super Safe gas station. Footage from the camera labeled CH07 faces southbound and depicted Wabash Avenue and Garfield Boulevard. This video showed at timestamp 22:24:55 the victim's vehicle struck the rear of the white Chevrolet Cruze. The white Chevrolet Cruze pulled over and parked as the victim's vehicle traveled northbound, and the silver Hyundai Sonata also traveled northbound. The offending vehicle is shown turning eastbound onto Garfield Boulevard. Footage from the camera labeled CH12 faces southwest from the gas station. Footage from the camera labeled CH08 faces northwest from the gas station and depicted the vehicle's victim crash into a tree at timestamp 22:25:21. Footage from the camera labeled CH10 faces southeast from the gas station. Footage from the camera labeled CH11 faces south from the gas station and depicted the victim's vehicle strike the white Chevrolet Cruze. Reporting detectives reviewed the video surveillance from the apartment complex located at 57 Redacted South Calumet Avenue. The footage from camera labeled CH06 showed the dark blue Nissan Maxima driving northbound on Calumet and parked at approximately 57 Redacted South Calumet Avenue at timestamp 21:26:22. Two unknown suspects are observed exiting the vehicle. The driver of the vehicle is observed closing the driver's door by the door frame. Both unknown suspects are observed crossing Calumet and walking southbound. The footage from camera labeled CH22 showed the two unknown suspects walk southbound to the west side of Calumet Avenue at timestamp 22:26:45. At 1500 hours on June 29, 2017, reporting detectives relocated to Chicago Police Pound number 4 located at with Detectives Edward and Detective Labdullah. Forensic investigator Brian and ET arrived on the scene to process the dark blue 2009 Nissan Maxima as indicated in Chicago police crime scene reports. The vehicle was photographed and items of evidentiary value were recovered and subsequently inventoried by F.I. Smith and E.T. Salmon. The white Apple iPhone was recovered from the front center console. The iPhone was swabbed for DNA and turned over to reporting detectives in furtherance of this investigation. This investigation is in progress. And we're scrolling down to the next document. It is a Canvas document submitted on July 14, 2017. And we're going to scroll down to some new information. All right, the Canvas, we have some addresses where I'm just going to list the responses. No answer. Refused. Female 120. Heard a lot of gunshots but didn't see anything. No answer. Subject was sleeping. Heard 6 shots. Looked out of the window after 5 minutes and saw the police and tape. Then no answer. No answer. Subject heard 15 gunshots but didn't see anything. Subject was at work during incident. Came home around midnight. Subject did not see or hear anything. No answer. No answer. No answer. Subject was not at home but heard of the incident on Facebook. No further info. Refused. Facebook. Female 130. No answer. Refused. Heard gunshots. Refused further info. Refused to open door or speak with detectives. No answer. No answer. No answer. No answer. Subject heard 2 different guns and a lot of gunshots. No answer. Refused. And there's a lot of no answers. Heard 8 to 10 shots. Looked out the window. Later saw police by near a restaurant north of Garfield. Subject was in the community room. Did not hear or see anything. Heard about 10 gunshots. Heard the gunshots. Thought it was fireworks. No answer. Heard 9 to 12 shots. Look outside after the police had arrived. And that's it for that Canvas. We have a progress report. This is a field investigation progress report. List of victims. Suspects are unknown still. Scrolling down to an investigation. Some new information. Alright, and we have an investigation here. And they interviewed some peoples. They have some inventory, a flash drive containing surveillance video footage, related numbers, motor vehicle theft, traffic crash. On June 30th, 2017, reporting detectives contacted Chicago Police Crime Prevention Information Center and requested a National Vehicle Location Service search for a 2009 Nissan Maxima with Illinois registration. Reporting detectives received a vehicle detection report showing the vehicle was spotted on June 28, 2017 at 0123 hours near the address of Redacted. Detective BB went to 3126 Calumet to retrieve private video from Redacted. The footage depicts the motor vehicle theft of the dark blue 2009 Nissan Maxima reported under number listed. The incident takes place at approximately 2:54:12 per the video's timestamp. No offenders can be identified through this footage. Reporting detectives relocated to 58 Redacted Wabash to re-interview Redacted at approximately 12:53 hours. All interviews documents should be considered a summary and not verbatim account to what was related. Interview of Redacted related that the victims picked him up in the west alley of Wabash Avenue near the rear of his residence. Washington drove northbound on Wabash Avenue towards a gas station. Redacted was headed to while stopped at the red light at Garfield Boulevard. Redacted heard gunshots and saw bullets hitting the driver's side window and door frame. Redacted explained it appeared this happened in slow motion time. Redacted got down on the back seat floor of the vehicle and pretended to be dead until the shooting was over. When the vehicle came to a stop, Redacted crawled out of the rear passenger door. Redacted stated he did not know who committed the murder, but that reporting detectives should look into Dow's background for information for who could have wanted to harm her. Redacted related he did not have any further information for reporting detectives at this time. This ended to the interview of Redacted. Detective Murphy interviewed Redacted, the witness who called 911 and followed the 2009 dark blue Nissan Maxima. Redacted related that he pulled out of the gas station on the corner of 55th and Wabash, where he stopped at a red light facing south at 54 Redacted South Wabash. Redacted saw a black male exit a vehicle behind the victim's vehicle. Redacted explained that the victim's vehicle was facing northbound. Redacted observed the male black open fire into the driver's side door. The victim's vehicle then traveled northbound on Wabash, crashed into another vehicle's rear end, and continued northbound on Wabash. The offending vehicle turned right and drove eastbound on Garfield. The offending vehicle then turned right and traveled southbound on Michigan Ave. Redacted paralleled the offending vehicle by going southbound on Wabash, then turned left to go eastbound on 56th Street. Redacted saw the offending vehicle on Michigan Ave, turned and go eastbound on 56th Street. Redacted saw the offending vehicle on Michigan Ave, turned and followed the vehicle to 58th Street. The offending vehicle turned left on 58th Street. Redacted followed and saw the offending vehicle turn left onto Calumet Avenue and park on the block. Redacted called 911 and flagged down a police car and pointed the offending vehicle out to the officers. This investigation is still in progress. We have another progress report submitted October 12, 2017. We have some more interviews taking place. There's a handwritten statement. And this is the evidence. All right, and we'll start. The Moore report stated that an internal examination of Janine Dow resulted in the recovery of one oxidized bullet from the abdomen of Dow. Dow has been previously shot on November 28, 2011. Detective Redacted and Detective Lapdula conducted a victim search of Dow and confirmed that Dow was the victim of an aggravated battery with a firearm on November 28, 2011, recorded under RD number listed. Dow was traveling in a van with several other females when two offenders began shooting, striking Dow twice in the back. An additional victim, Redacted, was shot in the wrist. Two offenders were identified and arrested. Redacted and Redacted were charged and convicted under Cook County criminal case listed. Redacted is currently incarcerated at Danville Correction Center. Redacted was paroled from Vandalia Correctional Center on December 19, 2016. Detectives learned that Redacted was paroled to Redacted, Chicago, Illinois, with a cell phone number of Redacted. Redacted and Redacted are listed in Chicago police databases as Black Disciple gang members. Reporting detectives reviewed surveillance footage from the Park Apartments complex located at Redacted. At the timestamp 22:39:26, real time approximately 22:52:26, two male blacks exited the front entrance of the apartments at Redacted and walked toward the front gate of the complex. The first subject to exit the building is a black male approximately 5'6" to 5'9", 130 to 150 pounds, wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt and dark colored pants. This subject bears a strong physical resemblance and matching clothing to the individual who exited the passenger side of the stolen Nissan Maxima used in the murder. The second subject to exit the building is a black male approximately 5'6" to 5'9", 130 to 150 pounds, wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, braided hair in a ponytail, green backpack, black pants, black shoes with an apparent large tattoo covering the back of his left hand. This subject bears a strong physical resemblance to the driver of the vehicle used in the murder. Both subjects walked to the front gate, opened it, and looked around. The subject with the gray hooded sweatshirt left the complex, and the subject with the black hooded sweatshirt returned to the courtyard, removed his hood, approached the door to Redacted, and rang the bottom buzzer to the building. At timestamp 22:45:37, approximately real time 23:08:37, the same subject exited the building wearing a red hooded sweatshirt, white t-shirt, and dark colored pants. At timestamp 58:33, approximately real time of 21:33 on June 29, 2017, the same individual was observed entering Redacted wearing the same red hooded sweatshirt and dark colored pants and walking upstairs to the third floor of the building. Reporting detectives received a list of tenants who had signed leases to the building located at Redacted from Park Apartments Property Management. At approximately 14:20 hours on July 2, 2017, detectives went to Redacted Avenue to meet with Redacted, the Redacted of Juliet Washington. Redacted signed a consent to search for Juliet Washington's ZTE cell phone. Redacted were also at the residence. Redacted related essentially the same information as previously given to Detective Carroll. Redacted stated that she was a witness to a previous shooting where Dow was a victim. Redacted related she was in a van that was shot up and that Dow was shot in the back. Redacted related that she and her friends had moved from the area of Redacted Street and Wabash Avenue to Parkway Gardens in 2011. Redacted stated the gang members near Parkway Gardens did not like the women and considered them to be affiliated with MOB. MOB depicting the faction of gangster disciples located near Redacted Street and Wabash Avenue. Interview of Redacted related that she was also in the van during the shooting in 2011 but did not identify any of the offenders. Redacted related that Redacted was another victim from the shooting. Detective Carroll and responding detectives went to Redacted to interview Redacted. Interview of Redacted. Redacted related that she stopped hanging out with victims Dow in Washington 2 years ago. Redacted stated she was still friends with the victims even though they did not talk anymore. Redacted explained she was also the victim of a shooting in the van in 2011. Redacted was shot in the wrist but did not see who fired the shots and did not identify anyone. Redacted stated she was not with the victims the night of the murder and that she does not hang around that area anymore. On July 3rd, 2017, Detective Carroll and reporting detectives went to Mr. G's at 3 Redacted 58th Street and met with manager. Redacted secured video surveillance footage from the business's exterior camera for reporting detectives. Reporting detectives reviewed the footage and observed the offending vehicle 2009 dark blue Nissan Maxima traveling eastbound on 58th Street at timestamp 22:32 hours. Reporting detectives further observed a dark colored pickup truck following the offending vehicle. Reporting detectives obtained search warrant on the iPhone model A listed retrieved from inside the 2009 dark blue Nissan Maxima on June 29, 2017. On July 5, 2017, reporting detectives went to the Chicago Regional Computer Forensics Laboratory and submitted the Apple iPhone into evidence under case number Redacted. Reporting detectives requested all available data listed in the search warrant to be extracted. Reporting detectives further submitted Juliet Washington's ZTE cell phone into evidence under the same case number and requested all available data to be extracted. On July 4, 2017, reporting detectives spoke with 002nd District Tactical Officers. Reuter stated that the officers submitted an information report regarding the gang conflict near the area of the homicide. Reuter and Frederick related that there was an alliance between gang factions of Black Disciples, members of the Black Disciples Savage Squad, Brick City, O Block, Wick City, and the Gardens, factions were in alliance in a gang war against the MOB faction of the Gangster Disciples. The alliance was known as 600 Block and was in the area of 56th Street to 65th Street, MLK Drive to Prairie. MOB Gangster Disciples were primarily located near 59th Street in Wabash. On July 5, 2017, reporting detectives spoke with Redacted of Janine Dow via telephone. Redacted related that she moved from Chicago to Michigan 10 years ago. Redacted did not have any information relating to her sister's murder. Redacted related she is aware of many problems surrounding the MOB faction of the Gangster Disciples near 59th Street and Wabash Avenue. Reporting detectives asked Redacted if she would sign a consent to search form for Dow's cell phone. Redacted explained she did not know when she would be in Chicago for Dow's funeral and that she could not physically sign a form. Redacted gave reporting detectives verbal consent to search the cell phone and agreed to have reporting detectives sign the consent to search form on her behalf. On July 10, 2017, reporting detectives obtained a search warrant Redacted for the Apple iCloud account attached the Apple iPhone with serial number. Redacted began between the dates of December 1st, 2016 and 30th June 2017. Forwarded the search warrant to Apple Inc. Corporate Legal Counsel. On July 11, 2017, reporting detectives Chicago Regional Computer Forensics Laboratory and submitted Janine Redacted Samsung Galaxy S6 cell phone into evidence under case number Redacted and requested all available data to be extracted. On July 12, 2017, reporting detectives received the results of the search warrant for the Apple iCloud account attached to the Apple iPhone with serial number Redacted. The results contained no evidentiary value. The customer name attached to the iCloud account was Redacted, the husband of Redacted, the owner of the 2009 stolen Nissan Maxima. Stolen 2009 Nissan Maxima. Reporting detectives contacted Redacted, who again related that no one had permission to use or possess her vehicle. On July 28, 2017, reporting detectives obtained additional video surveillance footage from the Park Apartment Complex located at Redacted Avenue. While reviewed the footage and observed on June 29, 2017, at the timestamp 8:45:06, approximately real time of 0806, the same subject with braided hair and a ponytail, wearing the same green backpack, exited the redacted building. A female black and a small child also exited the building and followed the subject out of the complex. These subjects entered a dark-colored four-door Nissan parked in the north parking lot attached to complex. Additional footage showed that on 28th June 2017, the night prior to the murders, the same male black with braided hair and a ponytail exited the redacted building wearing a red t-shirt with a red hooded sweatshirt draped over his shoulder. On July 28, 2017, at timestamp 02:59:08, the male black subject with braided hair and the female black subject entered the building at redacted. The female subject accessed the mailbox on the right side of the hallway for redacted. On August 8, 2017, reporting detectives and additional members of Area Central Murder Team F were assigned a homicide with 6 additional aggravated battery with a firearm victims at 63 East 37th Place, recorded under RD number listed. One victim, Machiavel Sampson, was shot twice in the legs and transported himself to the hospital. Reporting detectives learned that Sampson was a documented member of the Brick City faction of the Black Disciples. Sampson matched the physical characteristics of the offender that was driving the stolen Nissan Maxima and fired multiple shots into the vehicle, resulting in the death of the victims of this incident. Sampson has a large tattoo covering the outside of his left hand. This tattoo is substantially similar to the tattoo observed on the subject exiting the Park Apartments complex after the murders. Sampson has a listed address of Redacted, Michigan. Detective Edwards, Detective Dowley interviewed Sampson at his mother's apartment at Redacted, Michigan Ave. Redacted in regards to being shot, Sampson was uncooperative with the investigation. On August 18, 2017, a stolen vehicle was recovered at 57 Redacted South Calumet. The vehicle, a 2013 Nissan Altima, was reported stolen after a vehicular hijacking reported under RD number listed on August 16, 2017. Reporting detectives met with Detective Shear, who related the same offenders had committed an armed robbery reported under RD number listed approximately 2 minutes prior to the vehicular hijacking. Reporting detectives reviewed video surveillance footage of the incident where one of the offenders had a strong physical resemblance of the offender from this murder that was driving the stolen Nissan Maxima. On August 25, 2017, reporting detectives ran a security of state query of Redacted, who Redacted has had 2 vehicles registered to her name. A 2009 green Nissan sedan with registration plate Redacted, registered to Redacted. Another 2006 black Nissan 4-door has an expired registration plate of Redacted, which is registered to Redacted. Redacted is a large apartment complex located on the corner of Redacted, the same intersection the MVLS search located the stolen Nissan Maxima. Redacted parked the night prior to the incident. A National Vehicle Location Service search located Redacted 2009 Nissan Redacted parked near the intersection of 63rd and Michigan Avenue on May 24th, 2017, and the 2009 Nissan parked near the same intersection on January 30th, 2017 and January 31st, 2017. On August 28, 2017, reporting detectives obtained additional video surveillance footage from the Park Apartments complex. Surveillance footage from the north parking lot on August 12, 2017 showed Redacted vehicle parking at 0022 18 hours. Redacted and the same male subject observed with Redacted in previous surveillance footage exited the vehicle. The male subject now had a profound limp and struggled to walk. Surveillance footage on August 13, 2017 at timestamp 2:36:22 showed Redacted arrived in her vehicle and parked in the north parking lot of the apartment complex. Redacted and the same male subject as previously observed exited the vehicle and walked into the building at Redacted. The male displayed a limp and walked slowly. At 10:04:20 on the same day, the male subject is observed walking in the rear of the apartment complex and entered the rear entrance of the north parking lot. The male subject had a limp and struggled to walk. At 10:06:53, a camera at the northwest gate showed the subject's face, where Detective Edwards and reporting detectives were able to identify the subject as Machiavel Sampson. Reporting detectives viewed footage from August 16, 2017, the day of the armed robbery and vehicular hijacking. At timestamp 12:51:11, Sampson jumped over the locked front gate of the complex. Reporting detectives noted Sampson to be the same subject and wearing identical clothing observed in the surveillance footage recovered from the armed robbery and vehicular hijacking. Sampson appeared to be talking on a cell phone and was buzzed into the building at 5732 Calumet. At 13:47:30, Sampson left the building in the same clothing. Footage from August 23, 2017 showed Redacted arrived in her vehicle and parked in the north parking lot of the Park apartment complex. Redacted waited in her vehicle and another vehicle parked next to her vehicle. Sampson exited the second vehicle and walked with Harris into the building at Redacted. On August 20th, 2017, Sampson was arrested by Chicago police officers for a misdemeanor offense recorded under RD number and CV number. Sampson related to the arresting officers his phone number redacted. The phone number redacted is linked to Sampson's Facebook account, which utilizes the name Redacted. Reporting detectives conducted a computer inquiry on the cellular phone number Redacted and learned the cellular service provider is T-Mobile. Reporting detectives submitted a search warrant to T-Mobile. An open source search of the Facebook page Redacted showed a photograph of Sampson wearing the same red hooded sweatshirt he was observed wearing on the surveillance footage from the Park Apartments. Reporting detectives submitted Sampson's IR number to the Illinois State Police Division of Forensic Services to compare Sampson's fingerprints to the prints lifted from the stolen Nissan Maxima. An AFIS NGI evaluation revealed latent prints recovered were suitable for processing. An NGI search and subsequent comparison revealed a latent print was made by the person whose fingerprints appear on a copy of the fingerprint standards mark Machiavel Sampson, under laboratory case number listed. On October 8, 2017, reporting detectives met with Redacted and Assistant State's Attorney James Petrelli in the Area Central Detective Division. Redacted was interviewed and related essentially the same facts as previously reported. Redacted added the fact that he found police officers on Wabash Avenue near a different Nissan vehicle. Redacted related to them that it was the wrong Nissan. Redacted then drove back to where he observed the stolen Nissan Maxima parked and identified it to the police officers as the vehicle he observed the shooter get back into, and that Redacted followed. Redacted interview was memorialized in a handwritten statement. This investigation remains in progress. All right, next document we have is a lab report document, and this was submitted on October 15th, 2017. Scroll down till we get to the actual investigation report. All right, the following evidence was received by the Forensic Science Center at Chicago on July 5th, 2017. One latent print lift, so 6 prints. Examination of Exhibit 2 revealed a latent print suitable. All right, and we know this. They matched the fingerprints. One of these prints, or actually, so latent print, evaluation Exhibit 2. Exhibit 2. Yeah, so I guess one print matched his name. Examination of Exhibit 3 revealed a latent print suitable for comparison, and the fingerprint appeared on the fingerprint copy standards mark Machiavelli. Also, so 2 fingerprints matching, I guess from the vehicle that his fingerprints were on, and they had, of course, his fingerprints when they arrested him. So they submitted them into the database, and they have matches. All right, and exhibits 1, 4, and 6 revealed no latent print suitable for comparison. All right. We have another lab report here, and we'll scroll down to get to that. Investigation. This is an area central ballistics information alert lab report. All right. This report acknowledges that reporting the detectives received a listed BIA report and was informed that a high confidence correlation exists between fired cartridge cases recovered in the RD numbers listed. There must be quite a few. Stated on the listed BIA report, the information provided by Chicago Police Firearms Laboratory is for the investigative purposes and does not represent a confirmed connection between the cases. So they were able to tie ballistics to other cases with that same gun. So we have another lab report here. All right. This report received is a high confidence correlation existing between fired cartridge casings recovered in the RD numbers. So they're tying more crimes to these fired cartridge casings. And this next document is another lab report submitted on November 10th, 2017. So they're just building up evidence at this point, and stacking evidence against McAdoo, or Mac, seemingly. Let's see. Also a high confidence. So more confidence in connections in multiple cases. this one is a progress report, excuse me, and this was submitted January 7th, 2018. And now they list the offender, McAdoo. And he has Snitch K tattoo on his right hand. And to note, he was not cooperative, according to this document. All right, and we're scrolling down into this till we get to a new incident, and you can see associated cases. They're tying him to multiple cases, which is as an offender is not a good thing if you're trying to fight for your freedom. And he's in custody at this point, and it is June 28th, 2017, on a Wednesday at 22:30 hours. It's gang affiliation, Black Disciples, Brick City, 600 Front Street. All right. Arresting officers that arrested him. They're inventorying his clothing. Inventory a Glock 30, 45 caliber. Wow. And let's see what else they're inventorying. Green Bay Packers sweatshirt. A bundle of $1,510 U.S. currency. Black Apple iPhone. So I mean, McAdoo had, seemingly dressed pretty nice. He had a gun on him. Seemingly two. Investigation. On November 7th, 2017, reporting detectives received the results of a search warrant. The T-Mobile account of Machiavel Simpson, redacted on June 28, 2017, the night of the incident. Sampson's phone called redacted 6 times in the time frame of 2057 hours and 2100 hours. At 2140 seconds, Sampson's phone was connected with redacted for 856 seconds. The cellular tower Sampson's phone connected to is located at 1 Redacted East 61st Street, Chicago, Illinois. Sampson's cell phone appeared to have been turned off and did not register with any T-Mobile cellular towers from 2:21 hours to 22:51 hours. At 22:51 hours, Sampson's phone called redacted for 31 seconds. The cellular tower Sampson's phone connected to is located at 4 Redacted East, Garfield, Chicago, Illinois. Sampson's phone had a total of 13 calls between redacted from the time of the murders and 0021 hours. At 23:08 hours on June 28, 2017, Sampson is observed on video surveillance exiting the building at redacted following a phone call from redacted. The next phone call to register on a T-Mobile cellular tower was at 23:30 hours, where the cellular tower address is located at 64 Redacted South Yale. At 01:21 hours on the 29th of June 2017, Sampson is observed on video surveillance entering the building at redacted. Sampson's phone connected to the T-Mobile cellular tower located at 4 Redacted Garfield from 01:20 hours to 09:11 hours. On June 29, 2017, at 09:08 hours, Sampson is observed on video surveillance leaving the building at redacted. So they pretty much just tying his movements together to his cell phone data, which is tracking your location every second that it's on. The cell phone number redacted is registered to the Facebook account redacted, which is the Facebook account of redacted. All right, redacted is a documented member of the Black Disciples. They got a search warrant for the AT&T account of redacted. Redacted cell phone AT&T. Place the cell phone within 200 meters of the approximate address of redacted. GPS coordinate redacted on June 27, 2017 at 03:52 hours. The cell phone was within 300 meters of the approximate address of redacted. And GPS coordinate redacted. Cell phone was at the approximate address here. These movements are consistent with the date, time, and location the Nissan Maxima was stolen and then parked at redacted. Okay. On June 28, 2017, the night of the murders, at 2224 hours, the cell phone registered near approximate address of 6000 South Peoria. The cell phone number redacted is registered to Facebook account redacted, which is the Facebook account of redacted. This is the number listed for redacted. Reporting detectives previously received the Danville Correctional Facility phone number recordings of redacted. Okay. On November 11, 2017, reporting detectives issued investigative alert for Sampson. On December 19, 2017, members of the Chicago Police Fugitive Apprehension Unit placed Sampson into custody at the said address. Sampson had an active Cook County warrant. Sampson was found to be in possession of a loaded blue steel Glock handgun that was placed between the driver's seat and the middle console of the vehicle, the seat Sampson was sitting on. Arresting officers notified police forensic services, who recovered a blue steel Glock 30, 45 caliber semi-automatic pistol, so there's only one pistol. Excuse me for that misquote earlier. For further details of arrests, refer to RD number listed. Sampson was arrested wearing the same jacket he was observed wearing on video surveillance footage from an armed vehicular hijacking documented under RD number listed. Sampson was transported to Area Central Detective Division and placed in holding cell 5 with ERA activated. Sampson was read his Miranda warnings by Detective Labdullah at 10:14 hours with the reporting detective as a witness. Reporting detective noted that Sampson had a new tattoo, Snitch K, on the outside of his right hand. Sampson invoked his right to counsel and the interview was terminated. Detective Edwards, Detective Carroll, and reporting detectives relocated to redacted to interview redacted. Reporting detectives advised redacted to the reason of the interview, where redacted allowed detectives into her apartment. Reporting detectives asked redacted to describe her relationship with Sampson. Redacted related she was in an on and off romantic relationship with Sampson and that Sampson would occasionally spend the night in her apartment. Redacted stated she last spoke to Sampson 2 days prior. Redacted denied any knowledge of the events of June 28, 2017 and stated she could not recall Sampson coming to her apartment with another male. Redacted stated Sampson did not talk about his personal business with her. Redacted stated Sampson had clothing left in her apartment. Redacted signed a consent to search form and allowed reporting detectives to collect the clothing. Reporting detectives could recover 3 pairs of jeans, a white t-shirt with a tiger logo, and a pair of brown Timberland boots and a pair of black Timberland boots. Okay. The pair of black Timberland boots appeared similar in size, style, and color as the boots Sampson was depicted wearing in the surveillance footage of the murders and exiting the stolen Nissan Maxima. Redacted related to reporting detectives her phone number redacted. Further related, her old phone number was redacted. Refused to come into Area Central Detective Division to speak with the Assistant State's Attorney. All right, and technicians arrived at the area and photographed Sampson and Sampson's tattoos. Hannigan further collected photograph and inventory Sampson's clothing. And was advised of the ASA arrived at Area Central Detective Division and was advised to the facts of the investigation. On December 20th, 2017 at 20:30 hours, Dillman approved 1 count of felony aggravated UUW against Sampson. The murder investigation was continued pending interviews and fingerprint comparison. Reporting detectives reviewed redacted Sprint accounts, records obtained via search warrant, redacted phone connected with Sampson's phone 3 times before 1909 hours and 1910 hours on the night of the murders. The cell tower redacted phone registers with during these 3 calls is located at redacted, approximately redacted, Chicago, Illinois. And redacted phone calls Sampson's phone 6 times from 2301 hours to 2309 hours. The cell tower redacted phone registers with these 6 calls is located at redacted, approximately redacted. Redacted phone then appears to be shut off from 2309 hours to 0103 hours on June 29th. Okay, sorry about that. I was receiving a call. The cell tower redacted phone registers with during the final call to Sampson is located at redacted, approximately redacted. Reporting detectives learned that redacted was in custody in Logan County, Illinois for unrelated charges. On December 30th, 2017, with the technical assistance of Detective Hagan, reporting detectives was able to view the video surveillance footage from the building located at redacted in its entirety. These cameras from redacted are motion activated at timestamp 10:34:07. Real time 22:32:07. The stolen Nissan Maxima is shown parking at redacted at a timestamp 10:35:06. The footage depicts 2 subjects walking eastbound through the north parking lot of the Park apartment complex. The subjects then appear to jump over the security fence and begin to walk up the ramp. These subjects bear a strong physical resemblance to the subjects observed walking southbound on Calumet and entering the north parking lot from the surveillance footage obtained from the 5714 South Calumet. The footage from 5714 South Calumet depicted the subjects entering the north parking lot at approximately 22:33 hours. At timestamp 11:09, a white four-door vehicle parked on the west side of the street in front of the Park Apartments complex. At timestamp 11:11, a subject is depicted exiting the complex and entering the rear driver's side door of the vehicle. The subject appears to be wearing a hooded sweatshirt. Footage from the Park Apartments complex depicted Sampson leaving the complex at approximately 23:09 hours in a red hooded sweatshirt. This investigation remains in progress. And we have another lab report here. We'll check that out as soon as we get down to. Got some evidence. Lab report. They did some ballistics, I guess, and DNA on the Glock, Black Glock 19, the cartridge, in the magazine. They interviewed a female 20. Reporting detectives received an area central ballistic information alert. All right. Reporting detectives learned that there is a high confidence correlation existing between fired cartridge casings recovered in these RD numbers. Reporting detectives reviewed the facts of this RD number and learned that Redacted was placed into custody after being found in possession of a Glock 19 semi-automatic pistol, 9mm black in color, 4-inch barrel. All right. With a black magazine containing an unknown number of 5 cartridges, which was subsequently inventoried. The arresting officers notified gun desk, who related said pistol was reported stolen on June 27, 2017 from Mount Pleasant. Efforts to interview Redacted are ongoing. All right, that's the end of that one. Lab report. Then we have a cleared open arrest and prosecution document, which we'll get down to reading. So in custody, charges, first degree murder, and Cook County Felony Review Unit. They approved the charges to ASA. They have witnesses, statements taken, evidence inventory. All right. On January 3rd, 2018, Redacted arrived at the grand jury room at the Cook County Criminal Courts building in response to a grand jury subpoena. Redacted was interviewed by ASA Hancock and Detective Carroll and reporting detectives. The interview documented below should be considered a summary and not a verbatim account to what was related. Interview of Redacted. Redacted stated she was Sampson's Redacted and they had been dating for a few months at the time of the incident. Redacted stated that she did not remember the night in question and knew nothing of the murders. Redacted stated that Sampson did not have a key to her apartment, the complex gate, or the gate in the north parking lot. Redacted stated she did not have a key to the gate in the north parking lot either. Reporting detectives showed Redacted a clip from video surveillance footage depicting Redacted, Sampson, and her child walking to Redacted vehicle the morning after the murders. Redacted identified herself, Sampson, and Redacted in the video. Redacted was then shown video clips depicting Redacted, Sampson, and her child exiting the building at Redacted identified herself, Sampson, and Redacted in the video. Redacted was shown a video clip depicting Sampson and the second offender exiting the building at Redacted approximately 32 minutes after the murders. Redacted identified Sampson and stated she did not know who the second subject was. Redacted was then shown a video clip depicting the stolen Nissan Maxima parked at 57 Redacted Calumet with Sampson and the second offender exiting the vehicle. Redacted identified Sampson in the video and stated that the Nissan was not her vehicle. Reporting detectives and ASA Hancock showed Redacted still capture images of the same video clips. Redacted again identified herself, Sampson, and her child in the images. Reporting detectives signed and dated the pictures that Redacted identified. ASA Hancock signed the same pictures. Redacted refused to sign any photographs of any other paperwork. On January 5th, 2018, ASA Dillman and detectives traveled to the Logan County Safety Complex where Redacted was in custody. Reporting detectives met with investigator Jay Meister of the Lincoln Police Department. Redacted related to reporting detectives that Redacted was arrested by Lincoln Police on August 20th, 2017 for a narcotic offense during a traffic stop. Redacted was operating a 2008 white Chevrolet Malibu with an Illinois registration of Redacted. The vehicle was registered to Redacted. Redacted gave reporting detectives a copy of LPD case file along with photographs of the white Chevrolet Malibu. Reporting detectives noted the Chevrolet Malibu appeared to be the same color, make, model vehicle as shown in surveillance video parking in front of the Park Apartments complex at approximately 23:09 hours and picking up his subject following the murders. Redacted further tendered the results of a search warrant executed on Redacted cell phone. ASA Dillman and detectives interview Redacted in the Lincoln Police Department interview room. Redacted agreed to give a videotaped statement. The following is a summary of the interview of Redacted and should not be considered verbatim except for when indicated. Refer to the inventoried copy of the video for the complete statement. Redacted related that on the night of the murders, he was in a park located at the Parkway Gardens housing complex. Redacted related that at approximately 22:50 hours, he received a call from Machiavel Sampson, who Redacted refers to as Mac. Sampson told Redacted to pick him up from 58th and Calumet. Redacted stated there were multiple phone calls between him and Sampson. Redacted stated his phone number is Redacted. Redacted stated he drove to 58th Street in Calumet with Redacted as a passenger. Redacted was driving a white Chevrolet Malibu that is registered to his. Redacted stated that the white Chevrolet Malibu is the same vehicle he was driving when he was arrested in Lincoln. Redacted stated he observed several police cars on Calumet Avenue. Redacted stated that Sampson entered the rear driver's side door of the vehicles. Redacted stated that Sampson told Redacted that they caught someone on 55th and Wabash. Redacted related he knew caught meant to shoot someone. Sampson redacted that it was White Girl. Redacted knew White Girl to be Janine Dow. Redacted stated Sampson then told Redacted to slide by 55th and Wabash. Redacted stated they drove past the crime scene and observed a large group of people, police vehicles, and crime scene tape. Redacted stated he then drove back to Parkway Gardens where Redacted and Sampson went their separate ways. Redacted stated he saw on Facebook that White Girl, aka Janine Dow, had been killed at 55th and Wabash. Redacted stated he went about his night and that he drove near 55th and Wabash later that night. Redacted was shown a photograph of Machiavel Simpson. And stated it was a photograph of Machiavel Simpson, who Redacted called Mac. Redacted wrote Mac under the photograph and signed it. ASA Dillman, Detective Murphy, and reporting detectives signed the same paper. Redacted was shown a still capture photo depicting the white Chevrolet Malibu parked on Calumet Avenue on June 28, 2017 at timestamp 11:09:18. Redacted circled the white Chevrolet Malibu, wrote Redacted car registered to my other Redacted, and signed under the photograph. ASA Dillman, Detective Murphy, and reporting detective signed the same paper. Redacted was shown a copy of the lead's printout of the white Chevrolet Malibu registration. Redacted wrote my brother car registration and signed the printout. ASA Dillman, Detective Murphy, and reporting detective signed the same printout. Redacted was shown a still capture photograph depicting Simpson walking away from the stolen Nissan Maxima after the murders. Redacted identified Sampson and circled Sampson. Redacted wrote Mac underneath the photograph and signed it. ASA Dillman, Detective Murphy, and reporting detective signed the same paper. Redacted was shown a still capture photograph depicting Sampson standing next to the stolen Nissan Maxima and firing a gun into the victim's vehicle. Redacted identified and circled Sampson. Redacted wrote Mac directed me to 55 Wabash after the shooting that Mac told me about, and signed the paper. ASA Dillman, Detective Murphy, and reporting detectives also signed the same paper. Reporting detectives reviewed the content of Redacted's cell phone. Redacted's cell phone had the number Redacted saved as Mac. On January 9, 2018, members of the Chicago Police Department's Fugitive Apprehension Unit transferred Sampson from Cook County Correctional Facility to the Area Central Detective Division. Sampson was read his Miranda warnings by Detective Edwards, with reporting detectives as a witness at 11:41 hours, where ERI activated. Sampson invoked his rights to remain silent and counsel. On January 10, 2018, ASA Moret approved charges for 2 counts of first-degree murder. Reporting detectives received the results of search warrant Sampson's Facebook account. Sampson utilized the phone number Redacted, which was verified by Facebook. On January 13, 2018, reporting detectives learned that Redacted was in custody on an unrelated incident at Area Central Detective Division, room number 2, with ERA activated. Redacted family member on scene. Redacted female 124 agreed to accompany reporting detectives to speak with Redacted. Reporting detectives advised Redacted that reporting detectives was not associated with his current arrest and would be speaking with Redacted in regards to information regarding a homicide investigation. Redacted agreed to speak with reporting detectives. The following is a summary of the interview of redacted and should not be considered verbatim except for when depicted. Refer to the archived ERI video for the complete interview. Interview of redacted. Redacted related he had no knowledge of the murders that occurred at 5501 South Wabash on June 28, 2017. Redacted stated he had heard that Mac, aka Machiavelli Sampson, had been arrested. Redacted never heard Sampson talk about the murders. Redacted doesn't remember being at Parkway Gardens on June 28, 2017. Reporting detectives asked Redacted if Redacted ever loaned a vehicle to Sampson. Redacted stated that he and Sampson have been in cars together, shared cars, and does remember sharing cars with Sampson. Reporting detectives showed Redacted a photocopy of a crime scene photograph depicting the dark blue stolen Nissan Maxima used in the murders. Redacted related it was not his car, but he remembers the car and that he was in it, but never drove it. Redacted then related he remembers seeing the car in the neighborhood. Redacted followed that by stating he doesn't know if that's the exact car he had been in. Redacted stated they had Nissans, but they all look alike, and that might have been in January. Reporting detectives showed Redacted a single CB photograph of Machiavelli Sampson. Redacted related that it is the person he knows as Mac, aka Machiavelli Simpson. On January 25, 2018, Redacted arrived at the grand jury room at the Cook County Criminal Courts building in response to a grand jury subpoena. Redacted was interviewed by Detective Simpson and Detective Edwards and reporting detectives. The interview's document should be considered a summary and not a verbatim account to what was related. Interview of Redacted. Redacted related he is the Redacted of Redacted. Redacted stated he was with Redacted on June 28, 2017, smoking and drinking at the park at Parkway Gardens. Redacted stated Redacted received a phone call and then asked to borrow his car. Redacted stated Redacted asked for a car 3 or 4 times before. Redacted agreed and went with Redacted. Redacted stated they used his white 2008 Chevrolet Malibu. Redacted stated that the Malibu is registered to his Redacted, but he uses the vehicle. Redacted stated Redacted drove the vehicle to 58th to Calumet and used the phone multiple times. Redacted stated they parked the vehicle and that Machiavelli Sampson, who Redacted knew as Mac, got into the back seat of the vehicle. Redacted stated he does not know Mac well and does not associate with him because there is a big age difference. Redacted stated the radio was on and he wasn't paying attention to Mac. Redacted did not hear Mac say anything to Redacted, but it's possible he said something quietly that Redacted did not hear. Redacted stated he saw police vehicles on Calumet Avenue. Redacted stated that the 3 of them went to Parkway Gardens where everyone went their separate ways. Redacted stated he did not see Sampson on June 28, 2017 before they picked him up on Calumet Avenue, and Redacted did not see Sampson again after he left Parkway Gardens. Redacted had accompanied Redacted to court and agreed to speak with Detective Simpson. Interview of Redacted. Redacted stated that he is the Redacted to Redacted, and Redacted stated he has a 2008 white Chevrolet Malibu registered in his name and that Redacted uses the vehicle. Redacted stated he understood why detectives wanted to talk to him because the vehicle Redacted used that night was registered in his name. Redacted stated he believed he was at Parkway Gardens with Redacted at some point on the date of the 28th of June 2017. Redacted stated that he remembered that it was daylight still, but he doesn't remember if he was around at nighttime. Redacted stated he now lives in Florida near Tampa Bay with his girlfriend. Redacted gave his phone number as Redacted and stated his number had not changed in 5 years. Based on the facts stated above, reporting detectives request this case be classified clear, open, arrest, and prosecution. And we have another lab report here. We're going to come through and read what they found. All right. This report acknowledges that reporting detectives received the listed BIA report and there's a high confidence correlation. So they're linking Mac to some more DNA, and they list him as the offender now. All right, and arrest and prosecution report. This report should be read in conjunction. This case was administratively reopened for the purpose of submitting a lab report pertaining to the listed ballistics. Reporting detectives has no first-hand knowledge of these cases. The following information is a summation and should not be considered. The listed BIA report and information has been forwarded to the respective investigating area central detective. All right, if further investigation is warranted, additional supplementary reports will be completed and submitted at a later date. This case will remain in cleared open, arrest and prosecution status. All right, and here's another open prosecution status document. Scroll down, see if we have some new information. On July 12, 2018, Assistant State's Attorney Dillon, Detective Karen, reporting detectives met with Redacted and her counsel. Redacted at the Special Prosecutions Bureau of the State's Attorney's Office, reporting detectives interview Redacted as part of a proffer agreement. On September 30th, 2017, Redacted was arrested for aggravated unlawful use of a weapon in that she was found in possession of a Glock 19 handgun under Redacted. Subsequent ballistics testing revealed a high-confidence correlation existed between fired cartridge casings recovered from this murder and the tested cartridge cases fired from the recovered Glock 19. Redacted related that she was picked up by Redacted where she entered the front passenger seat of the vehicle. Redacted was driving Redacted car. Redacted could not give a full name for Redacted, stated Redacted is in his 40s and Redacted related there were 3 men that she did not know in the rear of the vehicle. Redacted related she believed one male went by the nickname Redacted. Redacted related she did not know there was a handgun underneath her seat. Redacted related she did not know where the handgun came from. Redacted related the handgun may have belonged to Redacted because he was sitting in the front passenger seat prior to Redacted entering the vehicle. Redacted could provide no evidence to this. Redacted stated she was in the vehicle drinking for approximately 30 minutes prior to being stopped by the police. Redacted stated that the police did not record the information of anyone else in the vehicle. Redacted was shown photographs of 3 men that were listed on the investigatory stop reports from the traffic stop. Redacted were listed as being in the vehicle. Redacted could not positively identify any of the 3. Redacted pointed to the photograph of Redacted and stated that could be Redacted because she remembers him wearing a gray sweatshirt. The investigatory stop report listed Redacted as wearing a red sweater. Redacted stated the 3 men in the rear of the vehicle were from Rex City near 63rd and California. Rex City is a faction of the Gangster Disciple street gang. Redacted could not provide any further information. This case remains classified, cleared, open, arrest and prosecution. We have another lab report here. Get down to details of it. All right. And they're informed that a high confidence correlation exists between fired cartridge casings recovered in the cases listed below. So they tied the cartridge casings to all those cases for Mac. And we have another arrest and prosecution document. All right, and information investigating. Reopen it. All right, they just informing why it was reopened. Another lab report, a lot of DNA they were going after for this case. But if you remember, they did have fingerprints tying McAdoo to this, to the vehicle. All right, and we got some more high confidence correlation between some fired cartridge casings. Efforts to interview Redacted are ongoing. Cleared, open, and arrest prosecution document. See if we have an investigation to read. This case reopened person. So they had to reopen it just to submit more DNA, man. And this gets us down to the bottom of the document. And thank you so much for watching part 2. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have not done so already, go back and check out part 1. And definitely subscribe and have a great day. Peace.